start shit if you ain't ready to get hit.
Well, allow me to drop some knowledge.
We have to disagree. I saw the Sailor Moon outfit.
Your favorite Jedi, the BMF goddess. I hope that you all are doing well and being bad motherfuckers. You already know the vibes. Tonight I have the pleasure of introducing you to someone I'm actually a fan of, pro wrestler Brian Baum, the Twink Killer. I love that.
It's true. It's true. It's not even a monster. It's the truth.
Brian, thank you for being here. I know your schedule is like chaos as fuck. You know, everyone wants a piece of the bomb. So I'm gonna start with, how old are you and where were you born and raised?
Yeah. I want to tell my exact age, but I'm in my 30s. I was born in Brooklyn, but I don't. You know, it's funny. I was born in Brooklyn, and when I trained at the Fallout Shelter, we trained in Brooklyn, and my mom came to a show, and it was at that place, and she was like, we used to live right across the street. I have no memory of this, obviously, because I was like 1 years old. So I was born in Brooklyn, but I know nothing about Brooklyn because I was raised in Manhattan. And so I claim Manhattan. I was raised in the Lower East Side and raised there, but
Oh
technically born in
shit.
Brooklyn. But
I didn't know that. That's dope. There's a lot of amazing talent that came out the LES.
yeah, I love the LES. I'll rep it to the day I die.
Chris Cage included.
Yeah, I love it. Do you know where he grew up in the LES?
Uh, Baradix? Barad-
Probably. I grew up in Two Bridges, so we were close to each other.
Uh, so how was life for you growing up?
Life was life. I mean, I had great moments. I had shitty moments. Um, I mean, I grew up, so I'm Puerto Rican. Both my parents are Puerto Rican. So I grew up with that culture at home. So always eating rice and beans and some kind of fried meat, and meat or chuletas or just whatever. Um, but I went to Catholic school for most of my childhood, and that was probably a big source of trauma for me going to Catholic school because obviously I'm a gay man. I wasn't out as a kid. I was still kind of understanding
Growing.
what that meant for me, but people perceived it. People kind of maybe knew like he's a little different, and so trying to understand like what was going on in my head and my heart, and then hearing kind of what they call the teachings of the church. They just always conflicted. So that was my childhood. There was a lot of trauma and difficulty around that. But in terms of my family and my upbringing, like I had very supportive parents. I have great siblings. We had a good home life. Nothing's perfect. There was chaos in the house too. But in terms of
Yeah.
the core, it was mostly, a lot of just positive memories. I have and had, growing up a great family. The hard stuff was the stuff outside of my doors.
Which is important. At least,
Absolutely.
you had that strong foundation at home.
Yep.
You had a show last night. How did that go?
Oh my god, it was fucking amazing. It was I mean, as wrestlers you'll have a match and then after the match you'll be like, "Oh, I really enjoyed it. It was good." Or you'll be like, "Oh, I didn't quite do what I wanted." But that match after I was just like, "Damn, we fucking killed it." Like we were it was a mixed tag, so it was me and Aria Rose who you interviewed, who's my partner in crime. Love her to death. And we faced Dolly Darko and Dave Vanity, and it was one of those matches that like it was on the card, kind of. There was no necessarily build to it. It was just something that was placed. Definitely part of the show and wanting to be part of the show, but the other matches on the card sort of had more hype around them, more history. But I really felt like we fucking killed it, and I felt like people left that show talking about our match and what we did, and the other matches too. This is not a knock on any of the other matches, but I felt like we were given an opportunity, and we like just hit a home run. Um, what I loved about it was one, Dave Vanity. I'm not sure if you know who he is, but he's a very
Mm.
flamboyant. He's also a gay man, but he and I are very different. Like I'm kind of more just like brute force, kind of like tough, and just like will beat like punch the shit out of you. And he's very
So
much
you
like
would
weapon.
you identify like strong style wrestling?
Absolutely, strong style meets like showmanship. Like I feel like Asuka, minus her amazing kicks, because I'm not a good kicker. I feel like I draw a lot from her. Like she's just like a hard hitter, but she's just like very carny, very
Yeah.
like kind of clown like, and that's how I am. But our match killed it, and I feel like for me, the beauty of it. There were many beautiful things about it, but the most beautiful thing for me was that like you just had these two gay men who were part of the match, and like we were true to ourselves. We didn't hide who we were. We embraced it, and we fucking wrestled. Like it wasn't a stereotypical match. We killed it. I gave him a German suplex off the top rope. I picked him up over my head, threw him on the ropes. He reversed my power bomb into a code red. Like we were wrestling. We were wrestling in the way people want to see people wrestle, and yet we didn't hide any aspect of who we are. And that to me was just powerful. It was great.
Awesome. I wish I. Well,
I'll send you footage.
when do they normally put out like the shows on YouTube?
So it's different. They don't put, since this is kind of like a special event. They put it out on Title Match. But they'll sometimes put clips. But I'll send you a private link of the video so you can see it. It was good.
Awesome. Thank
It was
you.
dope.
All right, so let's go back to the beginning.
Let's go.
Um, how did you get into wrestling, like as a fan in the first place? And
I
who were
feel like
your early inspirations?
so my first. So I feel like when I see interviews, a lot of people will be like, "My grandfather watched it" or "My family watched it." That wasn't true for me. I remember as a kid one time watching a show. I think it was like this was the one that got me in, but this is my first memory of wrestling. I think it was like X-Pac 1, 2, 3 Kid, and I think it was like Mankind in some kind of basement dungeon like boiler room. That was the first thing I remember, but that didn't make me a fan. I was like, this is so fake. This is so dumb. Like, who watches this? And then, like, I thought it was the stupidest thing ever. I was like, that's for the straight boys. And I have a younger brother who's 5 years younger, total meathead, total straight guy, and but a great dude. He started watching wrestling because all the boys were watching it. And I used to tease, and I was like, "That's Brandon, wrestling's fake, right?" And he'd be like, he didn't care, but he loved Stone Cold, he loved The Rock, and I was like, this is so dumb. So we went to Toys R Us, my mom and I, and she was like, I gotta get your brother these toys, The Rock and Stone Cold. I was like, okay, like I didn't care. I was like, where the Barbies at? So we go to the store. They have all the wrestling toys, and gay boy stereotypically, but there's a lot of truth to it. We always like the girl characters, like Chun Li in Street Fighter, or like Princess Peach and Mario. Like you could always spot the gay kid because we were playing with the girls. We didn't want to be the male characters. So I look at the toys, and there's this like one toy of this woman with blonde hair and big boobs, and I'm like, she's a wrestler. Who's this? So I was like, Mom, buy Brandon this toy, and she was like, Brian, nobody plays with the girl toys, and I was like, well, buy it for me. So she bought it for me. I go to my brother's house. I'm like this girl. Her name. I looked at the box. I was like, her name's Sable. When she comes on
Oh
TV,
shit.
let me know because I just was curious. I feel like it was like 2 weeks. I don't really remember. Obviously, concept of time that long ago. But it was a Monday. He yells, Brian. And I'm like, what the hell's happening? He's like, Sable's on TV. I run to the room, and I fell in love instantly. She had on this cat suit with her boobs up to her neck. She came out. She was so nasty. And that was the thing that made me a fan. And if you listen to my theme song now, my character, I have a whip, and I also use the entrance part of her theme. The meow. That's
Mhm.
part of. I use it as part of my theme, just that part, and then I go into my own. And so she was the reason I became a wrestling fan, and then obviously Lita, Melina, all these other people kept me a fan. But if it weren't for Sable, I would never have gotten into wrestling.
Wow, I like that story. It's different.
Yeah, yeah. No grandfather's lap. No father watching it with. It was just Sable with her big boobies, and I was like, I need to watch this.
Oh shit. What was the moment that you decided I want to wrestle?
You want to what?
What was the moment that you decided I want to do this? I want to be a wrestler.
It was a long road. It was so growing up. I grew up. Again, I said I'm in my 30s, so I grew up in like I started kind of watching, getting into the Attitude Era, into the John Cena. I forgot what era they call that, but it was kind of like the middle of the two. Ruthless
Ruthless
Aggression, I think.
aggression.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ruthless Aggression. Um, but there was a certain look, right? It was like you kind of had to be really buff and tall, um, and you have to be straight. All the gay characters at the time were like Billy and Chuck, Goldust, people that like it was just sad. They were kind of like making fun of them, and I was like,
Yeah.
clearly, like that's not. I can enjoy it, but I can't be part of it. And I focused on my career outside of wrestling, and I work in politics. Don't tell anybody. And so I very much focused on that. I wanted to make my career, and I was becoming. It was something I was passionate about and just very focused because wrestling was just something I enjoyed. It wasn't until COVID happened because I always throughout the years was like, oh, I just bucket list item is I want to go into the ring, I want to have a match, I just want to see how it feels. So COVID happened, and my sister's a doctor, so she really saw everything that happened, and everything around me was just obviously all of us experienced it, but it felt like a moment of just like life is so short, and you just never know when it will end. And so, like, let me chase my joys. I'm tired of, and this is after I had gone through a really bad clinical depression. And so I was just hungry for joy. I was just hungry for like life. And so I had some extra time because of COVID. I was like, had a friend, Marco Mayor, who lives in California. He's a wrestler. I was like, hey, could you just train me for a day and we could just have like a 5-minute match just to like take it off my bucket list? He's so nice. Like, yeah, absolutely, sure, blah, blah, blah. Literally trained me for 2 hours, and I'll show you the match. I came out as Sable. It was so carny. I had a wig on. I had the Sable bumper, and I
Aw.
took the wig off. It was just like me living my fantasy. And it was just meant to be that one-time thing. But as they say, it's like it's addicting. As soon as that was over, my first thought was not like, "Oh, I'm so glad I did that." It was like, "I need to do this again." And it was because of that experience I said, "Fuck it!" Like you only live once. I'm friends with Mia Yim Michin, and I asked her. I said, "Hey, is there a school that you recommend?" And she recommended the Fallout Shelter in New York. And I hit them up after 3 months of cold feet. I was like, "Should I do it?" I hit them up. I did it, and that was, and what is it? 4 years later now, I'm still wrestling. So
That's dope.
yeah,
I
I
like
love it.
that. Your stories are so different from everyone else's. I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta see that. You say you have it. I want to see
I'll
it.
share. It's you can't judge my wrestling because I was only trained for
Of
two
course,
hours, but
of course not.
if you want like a gag match or just like high comedy, I'll share it with you. I'll share it with you anyway. But curb your expectations. It's not gonna be WrestleMania.
Not at all. So you've been wrestling professionally now 4 years?
I think August will be my 4-year anniversary. I forget which day in August, but some day in August.
I
It's 4
definitely
years.
resonate with the thought process during COVID, because that
Yeah,
definitely made me think about a lot of things that, hey, there's so many people dying right now. Just, how short life is and how you should say yes to more things versus not.
yeah, I agree. COVID was a hard time for a lot of us.
So you trained at the Fallout Shelter, the Battle Club Pro,
Yep.
under who?
So I had a few different trainers. The main trainers there were Jorge Santi is one of the main trainers. Ahmed came a little bit later. Mike Law, his brother Steve. Those are the main trainers. We had guest trainers too, like Santana from AEW would come. Mia Yim, I was friends with her before Fallout, but she would also come and do guest training. There was a whole bunch of people. So those, but I would say Ahmed, Mike Law, and who am I missing? Santi were the main trainers that I probably spent the most time with, especially early on.
Yeah. I have a lot of respect for the Fallout Shelter. Um, not a lot of great places, to go train in New York, unfortunately. But that one definitely at the top up there with Hog, I think.
Yeah,
I think what you
you should
guys
come
do there
by
is
sometime.
awesome. You're
It's a
awesome. You're
fun place.
professional. So you absolutely you have this aura and swag that makes everyone pay attention when you come out. I love it.
Thank
You
you.
could tell, especially uh, for new talent or people looking for inspiration. How do you manifest your confidence? What goes through your head when you walk through the curtain?
Um, I tell myself I'm that bitch, and I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. No, you know, confidence comes with time because I was a very insecure, not confident like kid. Very kind of didn't want to be seen. Very just because I was really bullied as a kid for being gay. And so it's something I had to work on, and as I got older and worked on it, became very unapologetic about just who I am. It's like you either want it or you don't. Like I don't care.
Right.
That's sort of my mentality now. But I remember, so in my actual, like my non wrestling career, I would have to do a lot of public speaking to like executives and different folks. And one of the YouTube videos was a TED Talk when TED Talks were like popular. It was
Mhm.
like you got to manifest power and confidence, and they taught me this exercise. It sounds so silly, but it really worked. It was like before big presentation, or in this case, a match, you kind of make your body big and you roar like a lion. You're like, ah. And I would literally do these exercises before big speeches, and I sometimes do it before wrestling. It's just kind of a reminder for your body of just like own the space, own it. And for me, and all the wrestlers I see, because it's like I wish people could be backstage before the curtain. We're all like kind of hugging each other or just saying like good luck, and we're just kind of like in our zone, and like a lot of us are like with our eyes closed or just kind of like shaking our head, and then as soon as we get through the curtain it's like a light switch, and it's just like time to perform. And so I would just say for new people, I would say one, like, it's okay to be nervous. It's natural to be unsure, right? But it's like do your best, and when the lights are on you, it's like just transform into that character. Try not to think about being silly or like how people perceive you. Like, be in the moment, be that character, tell your story. And I would say more importantly for the people who are different, right? Because there's a certain type of wrestler who would go out there and is more easily accepted either by promoters, by fans, or whomever. But for folks like me, maybe you're part of the LGBT community, maybe you're a bigger person, maybe you're shorter, whatever it may be. It's just like, one, find your strengths, um, and two, don't listen to bad advice. One of the good thing about being in my 30s is I have a lot more life experience than some of the younger kids who come in and really just maybe take everything at face value. For example, a lot of things that you'll hear in wrestling is like about your body, right? You have to look
Yeah.
a certain way. And for me, I'm a bigger guy. I have big, biceps, but I also have a stomach. Um, And so for me, the advice is like, if you're happy with yourself, be happy with yourself. You don't have to change or look a certain way or be a certain way to make your inroads in wrestling. For me, it's more about like, as long as you have charisma, as long as you own that stage, as long as you know how to tell a story and you're a good worker and you're a safe worker, there can be a spot for you. And be in the places that validate and accept you, right? Um, that's what I would say, is really just like be true to yourself, own it, because everyone's going to have an opinion, and it's like you have to be authentic, because authenticity is what's going to move you forward. It's hard to play a character that's not something that you can identify with.
And I mean, there's negativity in every walk of life. How do you deal with the
Absolutely.
negativity? Because this business requires that you have a thick skin. Otherwise, it could be bad news.
Oh my God. I feel like I didn't. I feel like the last 2 years, especially the last year, I've been seeing the backstage politics of wrestling more in a much sort of in my face way that I hadn't before. The way that I deal with it is in many different ways. One is I have my close group of friends who I trust and I know, and those are the people I vent with, I talk shit with. You know, we have an honest relationship. You can't rest. People have to know you can't do that with everybody. You know, and you have to really know who you can trust and who you can tell your deep secrets to. In different spaces, you just I don't want to call it playing the game, but you act accordingly, right? Like I try not to get involved in any public drama or drama behind the scenes. Like I very much just try to keep
Smart.
my thoughts and my feelings to people I trust, and I'm not going to get involved or state my opinions in a public forum when I don't feel like that's helpful. I really try to just kind of like keep out of it for the most part, and that's what I would tell most people. But more than that, like folks have to, in my opinion, um, just because I've done a lot of mental health work on myself, I also try to find time for silence and for like things outside of wrestling. I like to meditate, for example, or sometimes I'm just like I'm turning my phone off and I'm going to get an iced coffee and go walk, right? Or I'm going to do something that brings me peace and joy. And you have to do that. Wrestling is not real, right? I know people don't like to say that. Yes, it's a physical sport. It's a demanding sport. It's taxing. It's fun, but at the end of the day, we're doing theater, you know. And I think a lot of times, too many wrestlers put too much of their personal self in it and take too many of the decisions and what's happening personal. Like I don't want
Yeah.
to lose. I don't want to lose like that. I won't take that. And at the end of the day, it's like it's theater, you know? It's a character. It's like being in a movie. You're playing a character and try to really separate. I think AJ Lee would say something like this. It's like there's the character and then there's you. And I think people having a strong sense and trying to separate as much of themselves from the character in terms of like their lives is important to maintaining some kind of peace and just like staying out of the politics. You can't fully stay out of it, but really just not don't drown yourself in it because there's so much you can't control and there's so much that's not for you to change.
And it'll just like wear you down, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You are breathtakingly insightful. I'll tell you
Oh,
that.
thank you. I appreciate that.
um, so I seen a post where your caption said, I am a gay wrestler. My gimmick is not gay wrestler. Explain to us more about that and, how you want to be perceived in the business.
You know, I'm glad you asked that question. I could do a whole fucking op-ed for the New York Times or a podcast. It's such a.
Expose.
I'm telling you, like, shoot, let's write
It
that.
needs to be said.
It's what everyone's different. What I mean by that is like in my real life, I'm a gay man, right? I sleep with men. I have relationships with men. I'm very proud to be a gay man. And that's just who I am. Like it's who I am authentically. And when I started out in wrestling, I found myself trying to hide it a little bit, right? Just to be taken seriously or not be perceived as the gay man. And I was just like, you know what, fuck it. Like, why can Stone Cold be himself, but I can't be myself? And I am a gay man. And so what I mean by that is like my gimmick isn't gay man. My gimmick is this chaotic, in your face, likes to push your buttons kind of character who is a gay man. But I think a lot of times because of the history of wrestling, it's like Goldust, um, Billy and Chuck, what was his Rico, those kind of wrestlers. Like those are these stereotypes of gay men, but none of them are gay, right?
Right.
They were just this stereotype and they would scream and they would do really flamboyant things. And for me, it's like I'll meet a lot of wrestlers, and bless their heart, they mean well, and take their I don't take it offensively because I know they mean well, but I also know that they're like, for lack of better words, they're just ignorant. You know, they'll
Right.
say things like, "Oh, you should kiss somebody in this spot," or "You should scream like a girl here," and I'm like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not. What does that serve for the story? I have no problem kissing another guy in wrestling, right? But for me, it has to make sense and it has to be something positive. I'm not going to
Right.
kiss
It's
another
not just to
guy.
exploit who they think you
Exactly.
are.
Or to make it a bad thing. Like for me, it's like if I'm gonna kiss someone, it's because it's a moment that feels powerful and beautiful, and it's not to be like, oh, that's disgusting. Um, but that's what I mean by it's like I am a wrestler who is openly gay. I'm not this straight man playing gay wrestler, flamboyant, who's gonna try to make out with all the guys and be like, oh, don't touch me, like these kind of stereotypes of gay wrestlers that I hate. For me, it's like
Right.
I will beat the shit out of you. I will beat your ass. I will wrestle. I will German suplex you off the top rope. If you want to chain, I'll chain. I can wrestle, right? And I can go make out with a guy right after my match because that's who I am, right? But don't think that because I'm a gay man that I'm not going to beat your ass. I will. And so to me, the real difference is just like I'm authentic. It's my life. It's not a character. People playing gay men, they're playing their perception of it, which is quite different than the reality.
I love that because I had no intentions of bringing your sexuality into this at all. But
Oh, please do.
when I saw that caption, I was like, this is this needs to be deciphered. So thanks for that.
Yes, of course. Always happy to talk about being gay. It's nothing to hide.
If you could change or improve something about the business, what would that be?
I would get mental health therapy for a lot of folks. Um, if I could, that's a big question. I mean, I think I would want to promote. I would just like to see more different type of people in wrestling, and not even though there's been so many positive changes and growth and stride. It's still very much a sort of white man's club, right? It's very much sort of you just look
Yeah.
at who are the decision makers. It's not exclusively, right? But it's still predominantly. And I think for me, I would just like to see more progress done on different types of wrestlers, different looks, more diversity and variety. And I would like to see, even in the indies, just more appreciation for different types of wrestling, right? Like for me, I always thought the best wrestling shows were the ones where all the matches had something different to offer, right? You had your kind of your Haas match, your power match, you have your luchador match, you have your sort of face versus face match, or you have your big guy, big, or small guy match. Um, you have your tag team match. Like for me, when it's like there's that diverse card, it makes
Yeah.
wrestling fun because there's so many little different things and it changes and it's not just like a stagnant. All the matches are the same. I would like to see more of that because I think too often there's a lot of gatekeeping in wrestling. Right? It has to be this one thing. If it's not this, it's not wrestling or it's not acceptable. And I would like to just see, especially in the New York independent scene, um, just more opportunity for people who are trying to break in. I think a lot of times it can feel like it's a lot of the same talent or a lot of the folks on a lot of the same cards. And the real challenge is because New York has the commission, it's really expensive to run shows. But I think for me, when I train with people, I see so much potential in a lot of people I'm working with, and just
Mhm.
like how I wanted opportunities, um, I want opportunities for them because it's like if you could just give these folks a match or a spotlight, there's so many people who are just ready to rise to the occasion. But getting that opportunity is a real, uh, it's a real challenge, and there's no easy I can't tell anybody, hey, go to this show, do this ring crew, blah blah blah, and you'll get on. Obviously, do those things because it helps, but it's not always the formula. It's
Right.
sometimes it's just unpredictable, and I really do wish there was a little bit of an easier pipeline from point A to point B to point C for people to know like what they need to do. I know a lot of people who do things the right way and are trying their best, and yet it can feel so hard. It can seem so hard for them to just get that opportunity. So I'd love to see more opportunities for people who are just trying to get it.
I respect that. So, my whole goal, when interviewing talent in the first place was because I wanted to gain more respect for indie wrestling, period. Because I feel like, it's looked at like, oh, this is the amateurs. And
Hmm.
a lot of people you see on TV, that's, where they spawn from. Um,
Hmm.
and, a lot goes on like with politics and fucking, unfortunately, exposing and drama. But, that's neither here or there. That's life. I always wanted,
Unfortunately.
people to respect what you guys do just as much as they do the guy on TV. How do you think that indie wrestling compares to mainstream? Why do you think people should respect them more?
I mean, I would just say respect all forms of wrestling. It's like even if it's not your cup of tea, the people out there working, they're learning, and also everyone has to start from somewhere, right? Like, how do
Right.
you? And also, there's a lot of indie talent who are just on the cusp of maybe getting signed with a WWE or an AEW. And so indie wrestling can also be the place you watch before they're on your TV screen, right? And
Right.
I think folks should remember that. But I would just say the hustle of indie wrestling, like people don't realize, like you gotta pay for your training, you gotta pay for your gear, you gotta pay for your transportation to get to shows. You have family lives. Like for example, my dad has cancer, and I try to help with that, and I have nieces and nephews,
Sorry
and
to
we all
hear
have.
that.
Thank you, thank you. He's
Shit is the
in
worst.
yeah, cancer sucks. And it's controlled. It's not in remission, but it's been luckily controlled. But
Stagnant.
yeah. But he's at stage 4, so it's one of those things where all you can do is just sort of try to keep it at bay. But I only mention that to say that like we're doing all these things, traveling, trying to make a name for ourselves, trying to be at these shows while trying to, be there for our families, for our kids. I don't personally have kids, but I know a lot of wrestlers who do. And if you see the grind that, that so many of us put forward behind the scenes just to entertain, fans for 10 minutes, for 12 minutes, for 20 minutes, for 5 minutes, it's a lot. And I think even though our main goal in doing that is because it brings us joy and we love to wrestle, there's a lot of hard work that gets just for that window of opportunity. And so I think if people, I know how hard people work, I'm sure you see it as well with your partner. um, but I think if more people saw that, they would, I would say that's why they should respect it, whether people mess up, whether they botch, whether they're just learning and the match wasn't great, right? It's all a process, and people are trying their best, and day by day, year by year, getting better. So it's a lot of hard work that goes into it.
That's right. I actually tell it this question out of curiosity.
Right.
So I ask all the talent the same question out of curiosity. So if you were to get the call from a mainstream company, who would you want it to be and why?
Hmm. If I got a call, I would probably say either maybe TNA or AEW, only because I feel like I want to have a I don't want to give my life to a company and like lose the other parts of me. Like I said, I have a career outside of wrestling. And so for me, I'm not like, I really liked Britt Baker's career, that she was a dentist and she was a wrestler. And for me,
Yeah.
like, I want to do my life outside of wrestling. So that's why I say AEW or TNA, because I feel like there's a little bit of allowance there to
Right.
be on TV, be a wrestler, but also maintain those other parts of your life. Whereas with WWE, like, yeah, I would love to
Right.
be on
They just
WWE.
own you.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I'm not sure that I could. I'm not sure that's for me. It's for some people. It's for a lot of people, right? Like that's a lot of people's dreams. But I think for me, realistically, I would love to have meaningful matches. I would love to be on TV, but I don't know if I could be on a flight. Like, that's a different level of commitment that may not be what I'm looking for.
Right. Is your goal to be a mainstream, or is it, hey, I'm doing my thing. I'm passionate about this, and I'll see where it takes me.
Very that. I'm doing my thing. I'm passionate about it. I'll see where it takes me. My personal goal is like I would just like to wrestle for like the creme de la creme of the indies, the GCWs, the JCWs. Like for me, if I could do some of those shows, like I would have done the thing that I wanted to do. Now, if you want to put me in that W Raw dark match or get squashed, I would love that. But I said I'm friends with Mia Yim, and I see her schedule. I see where she's at all the time, and she loves it. But for me, I'm like, girl, I can't you gotta fly again. Like that's a lot. So yeah, I would say like GCW, something like that would be my personal goal. But hey, if WWE was like, hey, you are just hot and popping, and we're gonna give you $1 million a year, I may have to consider. But but that's not for
Yeah.
some people they're like, I must do that, I need to do that. For me, I'm like, probably won't do that, don't need to do it. It would be a real shock to me if that were to happen.
We're living in a generation where there is so much good wrestling. Like WWE, I tell people it's not the be all end all. There's so much.
Absolutely.
But I do know people that don't even know AEW. So,
That's
you know,
crazy.
because they're
I know,
so
so many options now.
WWE.
It's a great thing. It's a great thing.
What is your ring attire inspired by? I
My
love the
Biggie
new
T.
hair, by the way.
Thank you.
Super cute.
Um, and my nails
It
are hot mess
completed
right
the
now.
look. It
I know.
completed the
I'm
look.
just like, thank you. Well, I used to pay so much money to do my nails. I used to pay like $50 to do my nails, and then I used to pay like $250 to dye my hair. So I would only do it for special occasions. And then I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna learn how to do it. So I did this
Right.
myself,
It
and
came out good.
I now do my nails on my own, huh?
It came out good.
Thank you. So now I'm gonna maybe do it more often now that I know I can do it myself, and because it's like fucking 500 times cheaper to do it at home.
Right.
It's wild. But my ring attire, so it's inspired by pop art by the artist Keith Haring and by Sable for the most part. So I come out with a whip. Sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's yellow. That's very much because of Sable, because of the meow. I always liked pop art as a kid. Like I love just like vibrant neon colors and just like you can see by my hat, this.
Yeah.
And then if you look at my logo, Keith Haring was a famous artist from the 80s. And if you look at my logo, it's his typography because I'm a huge Keith Haring fan. That's my tattoo is a Keith Haring tattoo.
That's right.
Um,
Wow.
I love Keith Haring. And then Sable, my ring name's Brian Bomb because of Sable, because her finishing move was called the Sable Bomb. And
Yeah.
so it was my friend who said, your name should be Brian Baum. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. And then there was no thought behind
Stuck.
it. And I had to kind of create this character from the name because the whole like Thicky Time Bomb, things like that was all after I got the name. It was my friend who was like, you should call yourself the thickening time bomb. And I was like, I don't know about thickening because it sounds like cornstarch and like soup, but I was like, maybe thicky. So it's all those elements. There's very much just like things I like in my personal life. And I'm Puerto Rican, so I have a big ass. and I was just like, I can't like cover it. I need to do something. So,
It's
and you know, it's at the time that Rhea Ripley, they still
some
all the
women
girls,
are jealous.
and they can stay jealous, honey. They can stay jealous. Well, I don't think you're jealous. Let's just say I'm
No,
jealous of you.
but I
I've
know
seen it,
women are
girl.
jealous because you
I've
have a
seen it.
nice.
I listen. I I always tell wrestlers, know what you can like. I don't have abs, for example, right? So I'm not. I can't. I could. Some people like a nice furry body with a belly, but for me, I know my ass is my moneymaker, and so I show it off a little bit. I'm not vulgar about it. I don't try to be vulgar,
Right.
but for me, it's like Rhea Ripley. She has those. I forget what they're called, like the thigh straps kind of thing. A
Hmm.
lot of the girls wear it now, and
Yeah.
in the gay community, a lot of jock straps are the thing for gay men. They love a jock strap, so that's why I have my gear. If you see it, it's a little bit shorter than normal men's briefs, so that the jock strap could show. So it's just kind of that look of like the Rhea Ripley thing, but it's like also like this small nod to gay culture because it's like we love a jockstrap, and so it's the
Yeah.
jockstrap peeking through. So it's really just my identity being gay, my love for Keith Haring, my love for pop art, and then obviously Sable, who got me into wrestling. All those things are all those influences could be seen in the gear.
It's super unique, and that's always a great thing to happen. I mean, to have in this business is to
Thank
be
you.
different. Because those are the people
I
that
agree.
I know.
I agree.
Those are the people you remember after the show.
I hope so. I hope people remember me.
If you had to have a match with someone who absolutely hated who you are and what you stand for, how would you handle that situation?
Oh man, like I'm fighting a wrestler who I know doesn't like me and is like maybe super conservative and just doesn't like gay people. Um, I would handle that with grace and professionalism because my goal in that scenario would be to show them that I'm everything that I'm not. I'm everything that they don't want me to be, including being kind. And I want to prove them wrong in every aspect. I want them to leave questioning their beliefs, and so I want to be easy to work with. I want to be a good wrestler. I want to do all those things. And I think I try to do that in any interaction, but I think especially in that, I don't like to I like to kill people with kindness first, before I fight fire with fire. But don't get me wrong, you can push me to a point, and sometimes you just got to throw kindness out the window. But I would say if that were the case, just prove them wrong, and hopefully they would leave that interaction maybe questioning some of the things they came in with.
Um, I'm not even gonna lie. That answer made me a little bit emotional because the
It's okay.
LGBTQ community is going through a lot as of this year,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I know a lot of people who would benefit off of that, off of your knowledge and your confidence. So
I appreciate that. Thank you. We are going through a lot.
keep
It's a
being
hard
you
time.
because
Oh,
it
girl,
helps others.
I'm gonna always be me. That's one of the reasons I am unapologetically myself because sometimes I'll go into these locker rooms or shows and there's always insecurity cheeks and I'm like, maybe if I were something else, more people would resonate with me. But I always remind myself like I was in wrestling crowds, people like me in wrestling crowds. And one of the early in my first Battle Club show, and Battle Club has been really good to me and has been a great place. But one of my first sort of reads of it, I was like, oh, it's kind of like the crowd is like really straight, kind of very kind of like inner city, like New York City. And I was like, I'm not sure how they would take me, like I just wasn't
Yeah.
sure. And I wanted to. This was around the trans. This was around the time that they were doing a lot of the early attacks on like trans kids and things like that. And I was feeling very inspired to just be visible, not for just being gay, but like for the trans community as well. And I was
Yeah.
just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go out this entrance today. And I was like, even though I don't want to be the gay wrestler, I was like, it was in my heart to wear the pride flag. And so I knew that people that would label me the gay wrestler, but for me, it wasn't about that. It was about the bigger kind of meaning of representation. So I wore the flag, and it was intentionally the flag, the pride flag that has the trans colors on it.
Right.
And I put it. I'll show you if I ever have a video. I'll show you. But I had my pink jacket, and I put it on like a cape, but I rolled it up so that when I took my pink jacket off, it would drape
Roll
down like a
down.
superhero. And so when I turned around, they would see it. And I got really emotional because I didn't expect the applause that happened when I did that. I just wasn't sure what the reaction would be. But the most beautiful part of it was after the match, some guy came up to me. He was like, "Oh my God, my daughter loved you. She's trans, and she was just so happy to see like someone from the community here." And that was early on in my career, other LGBT wrestlers have had experiences like that, and it's those experiences that we have that remind me to keep being myself and to keep because it's when we're from marginalized communities, it's not just about ourselves, right? Unfortunately, we're like a representation for like such a larger community, and
Yeah.
to I want my people to know that I have their back at a wrestling show,
Right.
and that people like them can exist and could be good wrestlers, could be great wrestlers, could be
Visibility.
attractive, all of that. So, thanks for sharing that with me. But yeah, I almost started crying too. So I don't have makeup on, but I was like,
Yes.
oh.
I'm just bisexual, so I feel like I'm at the lower end of the getting shit spectrum. But I
Mm,
get it every single pride because I go every pride and I do deal with that. But I know that
yeah,
for me is nothing compared to others, and it
yeah.
hurts. It hurts. My heart hurts for our people. So
Mm, it sucks. It
yes,
sucks.
you
But we still here,
definitely
girl. We still here.
right.
And we still gonna be gay next year too. And so they can do whatever they want. We still gonna be gay. Even if we gotta
Erase
form
all
our
the
own
letters.
communities in the
We're
puddle.
still visible.
And we were always here, I always remind people because these are definitely scary times, but these are scary times full stop. And despite policies and laws, community always exists, even if that means we gotta exist in each other's houses and find safe spaces for ourselves. We can never be erased in that way.
Right. Absolutely. So I notice you have your alliance with the lovely Aria Rose. And
That's
now
my
there's a
wifey.
young man. Now there's a
Yeah,
young man
Jeremiah.
also linked with you guys. Tell me more about this.
Well, one, I adore Aria Rose. Like, when you just meet your people,
She's amazing. Yeah.
amazing. Her and I share the same brain. Like, we have the same type of humor. We just get each other. So I'll share a little bit of the backstory because it'll tie into Jeremiah. But for me, once I got a little bit better and I was kind of making my own, Aria started training with us, and I immediately, for me, I kind of always saw myself as like a misfit, like kind of like I wasn't part of the mainstream. And I saw her, and she kind of read like that to me, like she's a shorter woman. She's different from the other girls, or like what you would expect a girl to be like that successful kind of like WWE type. But she was very unapologetic about it, right? She's like, I'm from the Bronx. I'm this like firecracker. I'm gonna do what I want, and I'm gonna be me. I'm not gonna. My goal is not to fit in a box. My goal is to be successful as Aria Rose, and I just love
Yeah.
that about her. And she's
She
funny.
has a
She's
very
kind.
genuine aura.
She's truly the most genuine person I met in wrestling. Is just a good, good person. And so for me, I was like, I want her with me because we both have that. We don't give a fuck about. We're not trying to be in boxes. We're trying to be ourselves. We're trying to be authentic, and we're chaotic. Like we're just naturally chaotic. Like we are just a hot ass mess. Like if you hung out with us, I think you'd love it because we're like fucking jelly beans. We're like oh. And so Jeremiah started training. And everyone tells us, they were like, you guys work together, you're so good together because it's easy.
It's
It wasn't
natural.
forced,
It's
it's
effortless.
natural. Um so effortless. And so for Jeremiah, when I met him, he was actually, this is always weird for me to say, but he was a fan of mine. And I was like, who's a fan of mine? That's weird. I don't know people who are a fan of me. But he was very sweet. And then when he was training, the same, that similar thing I saw in Ari, I saw in him. Like he was different. Like he's a straight guy, but he's very flamboyant, and but he's very like kind, and he's very welcoming, and it's easy to be around him. And I'm excited to see people watch him wrestle because he is a fucking character. Like he can really wrestle, but he also gets the performance of it, you know? And in wrestling, it's good to have different in a group. It's good to have different ways to partner. So like adding a guy was a good way for me to be able to tag with another guy if a promotion's looking for like two guys to tag together, or if they want him and Ari to tag, or if do 6-person stuff, or to just have a manager on the side if Ari and I are doing something. And we can just feed off of each other, and he adds another dynamic to the group that makes it more unpredictable. And I think what I'm most excited about is for people to see over time the dynamic between him and Arya, which is different than the dynamic between me and him. And so for me, it's just like it's a story, right? It's like, who is this kid? What does it mean for the group, and how are they going to get along? But if in the match that we had yesterday, he was ringside with us. He sang part of the entrance because he's a singer, but sang it in a very chaotic way. And then we have these rose petal cannons. They kind of sound like a gun. It's like boom. He used it on my opponent. So he's with the shit. He's with the chaos. So I'm excited for him. But for me, we're like a group of misfits, right? Like we're like the people who shouldn't make it.
Like the Suicide Squad of wrestling.
That's my people. Exactly.
Did you guys decide on a name yet?
So at the current moment, we're called the House of Bomb, HAUS, because like in drag culture, it's like you have different houses. So
Love it.
that's what we're sticking with. But we also all have ADHD, so we're like, I like it, but what is it called? So we may be called something different next week. We asked people online for suggestions, and the one that I wish I had done this earlier because I was like, fuck, I really kind of like this suggestion. They called it the Meltdown. And I was like, oh, that really works. I like it. I want it to be called ADHD, but Aria told me absolutely not. So she keeps me humbled and unproblematic. But right now it's the House of Bomb. Ask me in 2 weeks, it could be the House of Aria Rose. Who knows? But that's what we are right now.
Okay. I look forward to seeing that evolution.
Thank you. Excuse me.
What has been your proudest match or moment so far?
Well, I have a little bit of like bias, recency bias, I think they call it. So I was going to say my match from yesterday is one of my proudest just because I'll give you 2 matches. One from yesterday is definitely up there. One because behind the scenes, I really put it together, and I really felt, not that I'm a vet by any means, but I felt my experience, that I could put the match together and
Felt your growth.
not tell people, but give them their, hey, this section, you guys put together what you want, but here's what I'm thinking. And that everyone thought it was a good structure. And then to see it come to life in the ring and it just like really be well received. I had coaches coming up to me after saying I did a great job, that everyone in the match did a great job. And the crowd was just in it. I felt like I really just understood the mix of wrestling, performance, moments. Like for me, it had all of that. Like there were moments, there were like shock moments, or shocking moments rather. There was good wrestling, good reversals, and you need all of that for a memorable match. And I felt like we had it. And again, what I said earlier, just for me, just the wrestling day vanity and just having these 2 gay men just really just kind of wrestle in a way that's like people want to see. Like we're doing these crazy reversals was really meaningful. And I love Aria, and just partnering with her and seeing her evolution and just seeing her, like, she's usually very spunky and like has really good strikes and kicks. And I told her, I said, girl, like everyone knows you can do technical stuff, and I know that you want to do, but like I want to see you do some power in this match. And like she took Dave Vanity and picked him up and slammed him in a thing's called a uranagi, or like kind of like a rock bottom. And it was,
Yeah.
for me, it's like powerful to see this woman do this, and like lead into her strength. So I would say that one. And then to make a long story short, on the second one, my match with Jocko, it was a no DQ match I had maybe a year and a half ago. It was 27 minutes in total, so it was a long match. But we had the crowd. Oh, definitely, definitely. So just be able to go that long, I was like, wow, like because we had no time limit, so we can go as long as we want. And the crowd was with us. Like we told the story, they were never silent. Um, and it was the first match I had where I felt like I had transitioned from a wrestler in training to like I can actually do this, and I deserve to be on a card. And I really felt like I showed my coaches, the promoter, Battle Club Joe, and just my friends and family. I think I really showed them like, oh, like he's someone who's worth investing in. It was a proud moment for me, and obviously, and working with Jocko, so he's just a sweetheart. He's a great guy, and I'd sing his praises all day long. So it was just great to share the ring with him.
Awesome. Out of everything what we talked about, what is your favorite part about being a wrestler?
My favorite part is the escapism. The performance of it, the getting, not being in the real world for a minute, and just being in this other world, and the joy and fun and electricity that comes with it. Like after a match, during a match, it's just such a high. It's such a joy. That's my favorite part. I could do without the politics. I could do without the long train rides and car rides to some of these places. But being in the ring and the moments after when you have a great performance, like God, is it addicting? Those are definitely. I would say that's why I keep doing it. It's just it's a joy that's hard to match.
Okay, I've heard that. All right. Kayfabe, yay or nay?
One kayfabe. What was the question?
Yay or nay?
Okay, yay or nay. Got it. What is kayfabe? If I like kayfabe, I don't care. Like no, I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of I'm not a traditional person in the wrestling sense. I'm like, we all know it's a work. We all know that like we're helping each other. It's predetermined. Like, don't be disrespectful, obviously. But I'm just like, people know, and also I'm bad at kayfabe because if there's a little kid, I cannot be mean to them. Like, I will be an asshole coming out in the ring and be like, hey, yeah, stuff, blah blah blah, and then there'll be a little kid right next to me putting his hand out, and I have to like cower and be like, not you, because I can't do it, Where some people will make a kid cry, it's
Right.
just it's not in me. It's not in me. So maybe nay, just because I can't completely keep it up all the time. Like I'm too nice in my personal life. I just can't make people feel bad. It's just it's at least I can't make kids feel bad. Grown adults who know it's a work and like we're playing around mutually. But some kids they're too young to fully get it. So maybe in that sense, nay, but maybe but always be respectful of the business. I don't mean that in any way, but put me in the middle of that. So yay, nay.
All right. So just one last question.
Sure.
What do you want your legacy in the business to be when you ride off into the sunset?
I I mean, my legacy is I want to know that I made it easier. I want to know that I made it easier for queer people to be part of the business. And I want to know that, like, I did what I could to not just put myself on, but to put other members of the community on. Like, produced Fight for Pride, the first two. That's most important to me. It's like, I want to know that, like, I did my part to show that, like, specifically gay men, because that's who I am, that we can be good characters, we can be great wrestlers, we can do all these things, and we can stay unapologetically ourselves, and we don't have to hide who we are. Like, that would be what I hope my legacy is.
Respect. Lots of respect. And do you have any links to your merch? Because I definitely want some.
I do. The best way for people to. So I'm so bad at selling merch, forgive me, but I do have an online store. I probably have to update some of the merch. But if people go to my Instagram, Real Brian Baum, I have a link tree that has, I think, all of my links that you would need, my YouTube links, my store links, all of that stuff. So go to my Instagram channel. It's the easiest way to kind of just get to learn more about me and engage with me. I'm always putting out silly reels and stuff.
Wonderful. I'm definitely gonna add your info to the video.
Yes,
And
please.
I just want to thank you again for giving me your time. And this is gonna be real important stuff for people. And
Yes.
I wish you nothing but the best. I see you doing big things, and I'm gonna stay a fan. Hopefully, maybe in the future you come back on.
Yes, I hope so, and I hope to see you at a show. If not, see you
Yes,
around.
I've
And
been wanting
stay
to go to
bisexual, stay
Battle Club
happy,
again.
please. I think you would love it. I think you would love it, and if you do come, we'll do a silly. We'll see. We'll do like a who has the better booty reel, and then you can win and beat me at it.
That would be too fun. Um. All right, love.
Really
Happy
nice
Pride
chatting
Month,
with
by
you.
the way.
You too. Yes, be
Tomorrow
yourself, be
is
out,
the
be proud.
beginning.
Oh, girl, wait till you see the content I got. It's gonna be gay up on my Instagram for the whole month. It's always gay, but it's gonna be extra gay. So
Wonderful.
nice meeting you.
You too.
Bye,
Have a
sweetie.
good night, sweetheart. You already know, guys. Subscribe to BMF Goddess. May the force be with you.